Hey there, fellow wanderers. Tonight, we set off on one of history's most legendary trails, the Silk Road, a vast and winding network of trade routes that stretched across continents and centuries. Picture yourself swaying gently atop a camel, the dry wind tugging at your scarf. The scent of cinnamon, frankincense, and dried citrus clings to your skin. Ahead, the desert shimmers. Behind, mountain peaks loom like ancient sentinels. Around you, a caravan murmurs, hooves crunching sand, merchants whispering in half a dozen languages, and the constant rustle of woven goods packed tight on backs of beasts. It feels like a dream, until the heat sets in, the altitude rises, or a single misstep turns awe into peril. This isn't a scenic stroll, it's a test of endurance, patience, and adaptability. You probably won't survive this. Not without sand in your boots, sun on your brow, and a heavy respect for those who did it for real. So before we vanish into the dust of this ancient lifeline, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. But only if the grit and grandeur of forgotten trade routes speak to your soul. Drop a comment. Where are you tuning in from, and what time would the caravan reach your town? Now dim the lights. Let your fan hum like desert wind brushing canvas and coin. Let's begin. As you embark on this journey, think of the Silk Road not just as a highway, but as an artery of the ancient world, pulsing with the lifeblood of civilizations. Picture markets filled with vibrant silks, rare gems, and peculiar trinkets. These are not the discount sales you see in modern shopping malls, but displays of rare and exotic goods, each with tales sewn into their fibers and carved into their surfaces. The Silk Road was a grand stage for the world's cultures to intermingle, each step echoing with trades and tales. Spices perfumed the air, their scents mingling with the sweat of labouring traders and the earthy aroma of long-haired Bactrian camels. Your caravan consists of a motley crew of eager traders, each equipped with goods and dreams. Yes, there's a modern ringer here, and it's you, valiantly attempting to fit in. The traders share your enthusiasm, if not your creature comforts. Some have travelled from the Mediterranean, others from the far reaches of China. Language barriers are the least of your worries, when everything from your sandals to your stomach is a clunky anachronism, yet it's all about immersing in the experience. While roaming these ancient paths, you'll likely encounter the brutal realities of the road. This isn't just a walk down a well-trodden path. The Silk Road, after all, isn't a single ribbon-like route. It branches and merges, threading through cities like Xi'an, Samarkand, and Constantinople, with side trails meandering through treacherous terrains. The very idea of GPS becomes laughable as you try to navigate, relying instead on intuition, fledgling maps, and the advice of oh-so-wise merchants who swear they know a shortcut. Historians still argue whether this patchwork of paths better resembles a tangled vine or a web, but what remains undeniable is that these routes were lifelines for traders, explorers, and empires. It's as if the map of the Silk Road is a living entity, constantly shifting with economic demands, political borders, and natural disasters. Imagine the thrill as you join this ancient superhighway, yet the thrill soon turns into a stark realization. Some routes snake through scorching deserts where the heat bends illusionary oases into view. Others find you at the mercy of mountain passes where sudden avalanches and bitter winds can halt progress. While seasoned traders take such trials in stride, you might reconsider the merits of your modern-day convenience of climate-controlled travel. Nonetheless, there is a subtle charm in this raw exposure. Where else would you be able to meet a motley crew of traders, each with stories as diverse as the goods they carry? Their narratives are not scripted like the documentaries you've enjoyed binge-watching from the comfort of your couch. These stories are lived experiences, painted in the hues of triumph and tragedy, with you now a character in this grand tapestry. Amidst these travellers you'll find true characters of history. Astute Persian traders with flowing robes and keen eyes, rugged Central Asian nomads well acquainted with both bartering and brawling, and Chinese silk merchants whose livelihoods depend on safely crossing thousands of miles. Even as you grapple with the overwhelming sights and sounds of this ancient arena, take solace in trivia as niche as crocodile-dun sunscreen of antiquity. Apparently, strange beauty concoctions travelled as frequently as silk and spices. a comforting reminder that vanity and innovation are eternal companions. Keep in mind, however, not all travellers leave the Silk Road unscathed. Natural perils aside, human threats loom at every bend in the path. Robbers and bandits consider the Silk Road their hunting grounds, their presence as expected as it is dreaded. Fortunes change hands swiftly and occasionally permanently. In this lawless domain, the protection of caravans doesn't always equate to safety, despite hired guards and vigilant eyes. Yet, despite the adversity, the Silk Road thrived, creating bridges between lives and cultures. This narrative of resilience and relentless adventure makes it impossible for the modern traveller, like yourself, not to marvel at the incredible legacies of those who dared to traverse these paths. And thus, this is merely the beginning of our exploration, a portal into a world where geography, ambition and destiny intertwine on a scale unimaginable. So, fasten the metaphorical seatbelt on your camel saddle, because this journey across the Silk Road promises not just stories of hardship and danger, but tales of innovation, endurance and cultural richness. Stay tuned, for there are countless astounding revelations still to come as we continue down this storied road. As your journey begins, the dazzling landscapes of the Silk Road extend before you, promising awe but also endurance, a paradox of beauty and brutality. The remarkable terrain isn't just scenery, it's a formidable challenge. The road wends through some of the world's most inhospitable environments, suggesting that any romantic notions of journeying here must quickly yield to harsh realities. Your introduction to this extraordinary path begins in the blistering heat of the desert. The sand is relentless, and each grain seems intent on becoming permanently acquainted with your every pore. The sun is an unblinking eye overhead, setting the horizon ablaze with a surreal glow. At midday, the heat shimmers in mirage-like waves. You may be tempted to believe that timeless illusion, an oasis just ahead. But caution is advised, for on the Silk Road, not all is as it seems. The desert's beauty is undeniable. Endless dunes stretch like undulating sea waves frozen in time, a testament to nature's artistry. As you trudge through the sand, the repetitive crunch beneath your feet becomes a metronomic lullaby. But it's a siren song, for the deceptive tranquility conceals numerous hazards. The extreme dryness saps moisture from your skin with merciless efficiency, leaving you pondering the merits of investing in vintage, travel-friendly hydration packs. In this environment, water is a currency of life. Caravans carry extensive amounts, your Bactrian camel bearing the precious load alongside fragrant cloves and crimson pomegranates. While a modern traveller like you might long for a quad-webbed water bottle or even a water cooler dispenser, those traditional water skins are priceless relics of survival. As you continue, you'll pass through sweltering solitudes, bearing the remnants of those who ventured before you. Here might lie a forgotten village swallowed by an encroaching desert, its inhabitants long since migrated or succumbed to the relentless power of the elements. Silence pervades, broken only by the sigh of shifting sands, a sound akin to whispered tales from the past. Yet, it is not only deserts that test your mettle. The Silk Road stretches over colossal mountain ranges, where the air grows thin and every breath is earned. Jagged peaks pierce the sky and trails bubble with peril. As you wind your way through these sheer colossi, observe how your senses sharpen. Each footfall is cautious, as stability can be a rare ally. These passes have witnessed countless endeavours, armies on conquest missions, traders laden with silk, and refugees fleeing turmoil. Your journey is no different, but you carry with you a unique modern perspective that whispering winds transform into narratives of what was and what still could be. One misstep on these precarious paths, however, would risk your footing and underscore your minutes-old mountain climbing predilections. Not as easily redeemed as an online subscription gone awry. Weather conditions up here can escalate quickly. Imagine embarking from a temperate village at dawn, only to encounter a snow-laden blizzard by midday. This unpredictability remains intact through millennia, testing your resolve regardless of updated weather apps and predictive models. Historians still debate whether the term Silk Road encapsulates these mountains' treacherous beauty or their ceaseless enigma. Some argue that these paths aren't one cohesive road at all, but rather a vast network sprawled across immense geographical and cultural landscapes, shifting with the seasons, the whims of rulers, and advances in technology. In these lofty altitudes, the air possesses a brisk clarity, allowing vistas that inspire poetry, but also stark reminders of nature's cruel indifference to human ambition. While you attempt to capture this wild brilliance with admirably courageous, if impractical, watercolor brushstrokes or camera clicks, know that not every peril can be immortalized or safely traversed. Take solace, if you can, in that you are not enduring these trials alone. Each test is a collective memory etched in the trails you follow, the same ones navigated by historical figures trading silk to Rome or carrying gunpowder to Europe. You see, the trials here are paradoxically both ancient and contemporary. They represent humanity's indomitable will to connect against all odds. As the day wanes, nature offers a retreat into a resplendent tranquility. A sunset on the Silk Road is your daily reward, a palette of reds and purples sinking into the embrace of twilight. Under such skies, even the harshest deserts and loftiest peaks find moments of reprieve. Here, primitive human history echoes in the silent sands. Evening falls, and the familiar hum of otters or saltires settles in, like a gentle reminder that despite distance travelled and trials endured, you share a journey much larger than yourself. With each step forward, you shed a little of modern certainty for the wisdom of every traveller who set foot before you, truly embodying the ageless dance between culture, commerce, and raw resilience. The Silk Road stands as a testament not merely to trade, but to the shared human spirit. Tenacious, unyielding, and yearning ever onward. So immerse yourself in your surroundings, for there is much yet to discover, as we traverse through mystery, might, and the odd menacing mirage. Stay with us as we roll forward into the heart of this extraordinary narrative. The sun finally sets, leaving you in the embrace of twilight as your caravan halts for the night. Flickering campfires cast shadows dancing across the desert sands. This is when the heart of the Silk Road truly begins to beat. Through the stories exchanged among its travellers, the merchant caravans are the lifeblood of this ancient network, connecting everything from ivory and jade to philosophies and dreams. Each trader around you is a tapestry of tales and transactions. Meet Farid, a Persian silk merchant who boasts a seemingly endless supply of stories, each more incredible than the last. With his richly embroidered tunic and a smile wide enough to span 1,000 miles, he captivates you with tales of perilous journeys through foreboding canyons where echoes of ancient bandit routes persist. To your left is Omar, a jewel trader whose eyes sparkle brighter than the finest gemstones. He comes from Samarkand, where the colours of his turban are said to match the mosaics of its splendid mosques. His hands move with the care of a craftsman as he unwraps a parcel, revealing lapis lazuli so vivid it captures every ounce of moonlight. Omar's stories aren't just about the stones themselves, but about the lands they traverse, maps not on parchment, but alive in his memory. The night air is alive with camaraderie and intrigue. Language barriers fall away amid shared goals and the universal gestures of trade. As the hierarchy of haggling takes shape, those gathered understand that patience is as precious as any commodity. For you, the present-day traveller, deciphering these bartering exchanges feels akin to decoding ancient tabloid gossip, a game of who knows whom and how well one can persuade. Historians still argue whether merchant caravans functioned more as trade consortia or as mini-nations on the move. Their cohesiveness was essential for survival, transcending trivial grievances in favour of mutual benefit. Each member, a cog in the grand enterprise that enables silk to traverse from its production in China to its donning by an elegant Roman. The night develops a rhythm, punctuated by the hum and chatter of negotiations. An Egyptian trader unrolls a papyrus detailing the wonders of her homeland, offering a map to a newcomer like yourself. A whimsical reminder of times when human navigation was guided by celestial bodies and a daring sense of adventure. Trade on the Silk Road, unlike your low-edge smartphone deals, was an elaborate dance. Whether it was bartering spice for silk or brokering deals with currencies both precious and peculiar, transactions often relied heavily on relational currency. Reputation was everything. The wrong word or a single misstep could erode trust like desert winds wear down the sharpest stones. With so many traders originating from far-flung corners of the earth, multilingualism becomes not just useful, but vital. However, for the modern traveller like you, the kaleidoscopic convergence of languages isn't just an academic exercise, but a linguistic sumo wrestling match where you hold the dictionary. And while you may not be fluent in the dialects flying fast and free around the fire, The curious inventions known as the cow trade mime and the universal point and nod method suffice surprisingly well. In these caravans, too, humanity's quirks become apparent. Some traders carry espresso machines powered by camel ignition, or so it seems through sleep-deprived eyes. Others swear by short naps punctuated by philosophical debates under the stars. By some miracle, these caravans thrive despite the occasional incomprehensible debate on the path's best religious philosopher or the relative merits of almond versus fig pastries. As the laughter subsides, you settle into your makeshift bedding. The rustle of desert winds, only vaguely reminiscent of plastic shopping bags whisked by urban breezes. Beneath a vast, star-studded sky, a soft sense of calm envelops you. You begin to appreciate why such turmoil, hardship and celebration unite here on the Silk Road. No longer merely vast, rugged paths, these routes pulse with the interwoven memories, aspirations and legacies of thousands upon thousands each. Each trade holds echoes of the past defining future exchanges. And as your eyes slowly drift shut, you're caught in the delicate embrace of history, realized not just through time, but through the people who dared to live it. With the caravan torch finally flickering to rest, the beauty of it all lies in the blend of the mundane and the magnificent. It's a feeling of connection, knowing that every handshake, every trade, and every encounter furthers the ongoing story of cultural exchange woven seamlessly within the intimacy of a shared fire under the endless firmament. Here on the Silk Road, no road sign dictates the mile markers of commerce. No digital grid connects wireless users across the globe. Instead, these traders synthesize their routes from an arcane blend of instincts, histories, and shared experiences. So, feel the compelling pulse of this ancient network, the grandeur of its chaos, and retire with the knowledge that another day, another leg of this marvelously intricate journey still awaits. As dawn breaks over the sprawling desert, you're stirred from sleep by the gentle cacophony of the caravan preparing to move. The cool of the early morning provides a brief respite from the sun's impending blaze, casting long shadows across the sandy expanse. Today, your journey on the Silk Road takes you deeper into the inhospitable heart of the deserts that have tested traders for centuries. The desert is an unyielding presence, a daunting frontier that has both enticed and broken travelers throughout history. It stretches endlessly, a vast ocean of sand where orientation becomes an elaborate guessing game, a far cry from a dot on a GPS app. The sense of direction depends heavily on the knowledge of seasoned guides, who read the desert's subtle cues like the lines on a familiar face. Traveling through this arid wasteland, you begin to understand why so many routes converged and diverged here. Every step forward requires meticulous coordination. Every breath, a conscious effort, as arid winds deposit a thin film of sand over everything and everyone. In this desert of doom, your smartphone sunscreen app becomes a laughing relic of improbable relevance compared to the ancient wisdom of headscarves and robes. The heat builds quickly, oppressive and all-consuming. By midday, it creates an illusionary dance of light that shimmers just above the sand, offering false promises of aquiferious mirages. It's this unexpected artistry of the desert that makes you pause, momentarily forgetting the blazing discomfort. Unfortunately for you, that comforting mirage of a vending machine full of ice-cold drinks will remain forever a cruel trick of optics. Historians still debate whether these deserts were initially considered barriers or opportunities. Settlements often sprung at desert edges, budding like flowers seeking sustenance from scarce water veils. These oases became lifelines, their strategic positions vital. Here, traders bartered not just goods but transport strategies, relying on localized environmental wisdom for respite and replenishment. The caravan presses on, marking a jagged course across the sand. Each trader's silhouette hunches slightly forward, as if bargaining with the very horizon. Your camel, with its thick coat and remarkable endurance, moves with a rhythm attuned perfectly to this tough trek. Its practicality proves invaluable, doubly so when contrasted against your exhausted shuffling through ankle-deep sand. In this sparsely populated expanse, the bond between travelers becomes potent. Toughened faces, bearing the sun's imprint, share tales and tips for survival. Beware the sun's persuasion, warns Nazim, an elder traveller who's clearly been moulded by countless days under its rays. His anecdote of the time he mistook a desert phantom for a dromedary camel bestows a valuable lesson in the fine line between focus and folly. Desert life, though sparse, thrives with tenacity. Occasionally, a desert fox darts from behind undulating dunes, eyeing you with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Contrary to the haunting emptiness imagined, these swaths of sand bustle with unseen life, flora and fauna adapted with miraculous feats of evolution. Meals along the way become Spartan and efficient. Dates, flatbreads, and whatever dried food can withstand the journey. The simplicity of sustenance is a sharp contrast to the culinary spectacles expected back home. Yet here, a humble meal shared under the desert sky nourishes the spirit as much as the body. The desert nights transform into a tranquil haven, the day's intensity giving way to an exquisite peace. The stars above glimmer in libation-rich clusters, clearer and more expansive than anything observed through light-polluted urban lenses. These celestial guides have steered travellers for millennia, embroidering stories of navigation and resilience across the firmament. After days crossing the shifting sands, the caravan encounters the unexpected beauty of an oasis, a rare jewel set amidst the sands. Located by a freshwater spring, palm fronds swaying in gentle cycles as if nature itself offers a whisper of solace. Oases define the rhythm of desert traversing. They are both destination and detour in a single breath. Here, water quenches parched throats and bathes dusty faces. The caravan savours these moments, each sip from the cool springs akin to the champion wandering marathoner reaching the finish line after hurdles unimagined. Your spirit renews and reinvigorates with the prospect of continuing your journey. As the oasis fades into distance and day becomes night again, you settle around a fire surrounded by shadows of protruding rock formations monumental in stillness. Echoes of the day's passage linger, crafting an atmosphere that melds the ancient with now, the personal with the shared. You're part of a continuum, hinging on a frail but fervent connection to those who dared these harsh tracts before you. The deserts of doom, unyielding yet alluring, reveal the stark balance between human fragility and determination, a place of ephemeral resonance and reluctant beauty. These sands ultimately embrace all who tread thoughtfully and respect the spirit and history bound within. As your eyes gently close, the hum of the caravan morphs into a lullaby, underscored by desert's soft, ethereal symphony, a testament to the enduring link between relentless lands and human endeavour. Another day awaits, with places yet unhardened by your tread. The sands, monumental in their undisturbed calm, hold stories infinite in number and uncertainty. Lean into sleep, cradled softly by ancient rhythms, knowing that every step you take etches your echoes into the silent archives of the Silk Road. With the breaking dawn quivering on the horizon, the caravan recommences its journey, moving from the shifting sands of the desert to the formidable embrace of the mountain passes. Your camel carries you steadily upward, its capability in traversing rocky terrains almost uncanny. As you ascend, the air becomes thinner, crisp and invigorating. The arid breath of the desert is replaced by a mountain chill that pinches your cheeks and invigorates your lungs, an abrupt reminder of nature's shifting moods. The Silk Road worms its way through some of the most daunting mountain ranges known to humanity. Peaks broad and bold pierce the sky like temple spires, solemn and daunting. At first, the beauty is breathtaking. Snow-capped summits glitter in the morning sun, and valleys beckon beneath veils of wispy clouds, a sight more suited to an alpine postcard than a grueling trade route full of perils. But soon, the reality of navigating these paths asserts itself, and your appreciation for their beauty is tempered by the stark challenges they present. Paths narrow to precarious ledges, where a single miscalculated step could tragically redefine your human pretensions of superiority over nature. Humour, as it tends to in moments of unease, becomes a dear ally, and likening your predicament to tightrope walking for poorly trained acrobats elicits laughter. Nervous, but laughter all the same. These mountains have stories woven into their sturdy fabric. Ancient landslides and avalanches have carved scars and passages into their surfaces, moulding routes that traders have negotiated for centuries. You understand intuitively why these paths, while daunting, are nonetheless preferred. The sheer drop-offs aren't just scenic, they're strategically significant, offering traders the best, albeit dangerous, route through these natural fortresses. Historians still argue whether the choice of such mountain routes was dictated by necessity or dictated by their symbolic nature, as gateways into empires, passages where the divine and the mortal brush against each other. Regardless of academic musings, the cradled silence of these heights insists profoundly on presence. It says, "You are here," in both history and gravity. You travel in a single file line, respect for the treacherous drops ingrained in each careful step, a pace dictated by nature rather than trade ambition. The rhythmic tapping of hooves is a constant, comforting, almost instinctual heartbeat along the narrow mountain pass. You imagine the centuries of traders who preceded you, marching like ants across a titan's back, their whispers carried by the wind. They blend into a tapestry of ceaseless movement etched into the mountainside. Up here, the weather can morph from an ally to an adversary in the blink of an eye. Though the sun may shine at dawn, clouds can thicken by noon, swallowing the mountain in a monochrome haze. The fierceness of this transformation leaves you scrambling for your cape, a modern concession in the face of nature's unbridled capriciousness. An impromptu joke about wishing you'd invested in high-altitude insurance gets a laugh, but even laughter has a slight edge in these altitudinal theatres. But the fickle nature of mountain weather rarely deters seasoned traders. Anecdotes of unexpected blizzards become tales of anticipation, teaching you that adaptability is as valuable as any physical preparation. The landscape controls the tempo, demanding that travelers heed its commandments with humility and vigilance. Along these paths, you encounter worn markers, crudely shaped stones, etched with symbols or images from long-forgotten hands that signify critical junctures, spiritual sites, or places of rest. Some are revered and covered with offerings, colourful cloths fluttering in the chilling wind, adorations from traversers paying homage to the mountains themselves. Your ascent continues until the peak, where you pause, breathless, overlooking a panorama that defies easy description. Valleys cascade in a medley of greens, browns, and blues. Villages cling to the hillsides, each dwelling a testament to human resilience, a claim on habitat despite hostility. Here, the air stings cold against your skin, a rejuvenating reminder of vitality. The descent on the other side, an inevitable anticlimax after such soaring heights, is gentler than anticipated, an abdominal flutter akin to cresting a roller coaster. The mountain pass eases into gentle slopes, a tempo promiscuous and loose, as if the road itself grieves departing these lofty avenues. Yet as mountains shrink into the background, etched eternally onto your memory, you find your footing easing into gentler terrain. The mountains opened a space in you that had lain hidden, one filled with awe, respect, and an inkling of the vast world eclectic in both its literal and historical topography. The sun sets with long splayed brushstrokes against the sky. Colours blend beautifully, a tapestry weaving the end to a day of profound perspective crossing peaks that remain unmoved and eternal. As the campfire casts shadows on the ground, travellers share glances, a mosaic of emotions: conquest, triumph, reflection. In this land where paths are sculpted by ambition and the brazen and the cautious thread between rock and sky, echoes of those who travelled these mountains before you lull you to sleep. The Silk Road, a magnificent, unparalleled journey, whispers through your dreams, holding your imagination tight, promising both peril and wonder, more wonders that await on the morrow's trail. As the caravan progresses, winding through routes as ancient as the stories they harbour, you find yourself tangled in the vibrant tapestry of languages that punctuate the Silk Road. This bustling global avenue could claim a cacophony of tongues, a veritable Tower of Babel on the move. From the rhythmic cadences of Persian and Arabic to the tonal melodies of Chinese and the lilt of Turkic dialects, languages echo continuously, turning the road into a symphonic expanse. For you, a modern traveller more accustomed to universal translators and the smooth slides of language apps, this linguistic diversity is its own adventure, a grand puzzle resisting easy solutions. Communication here relies on a delicate dance of gestures, shared smiles, and that surprisingly useful universal language of trade, math. Fortunately, numbers remain an airtight bridge across chasms of incomprehension, though determining the price of an artifact without resorting to wildly exaggerated hand signals becomes a linguistic relay race on its own. In any given market, you might hear a tradesman from Kashgar haggling in Ulga over exquisite silks with a Byzantine from Constantinople negotiating in broken but earnest Greek. Now imagine trying to barter under those circumstances, while not misfiring with the wrong phrase to end up purchasing a camel instead of a rug to sleep on. Historians still argue whether it was these language intersections that enabled such a rich exchange of not only goods, but also ideas. Some posit that it fueled cultural interchange, while others see it as a hindrance, a necessary complexity in the endeavour of trade. Regardless, on the Silk Road, language is a living, breathing entity, shifting and evolving with every person who passes through. Multilingual intermediaries, often traders themselves, become invaluable assets. They bridge worlds with the deftness of diplomats, their words weaving a communicative net that transcends simple bargaining. It's high diplomacy in the marketplace, yet these uncelebrated translators embrace their unique role, bringing coherence to the cacophony. Their casual brilliance transforms chatter into coherence, turning potential gaffes into trades, misunderstandings into friendships. An Indian trader you meet carries a beaded amulet, its intricate design narrating a story that transcends literal translation. Ideas are shared and reconstructed through imagery, with the beads describing a linguistic history of their own. You realize that while you may temporarily be mute in verbal exchange, meaning finds its way through art and expression, stitching the otherwise discordant notes into a harmonious melody. Drawing back into the everyday, mundane pleasantries like asking directions or haggling over the price of a horse, morph into grand tableaux, replete with expressive gestures and interpretive glances. An accidental exchange with a Mongol herder, mistaking an innocent inquiry about spears for your need of a toothpick, offers up a smorgasbord of laughter and camaraderie that transcends any linguistic inaptitude. As the caravan winds through numerous cultures, cultural customs unfold like rich tapestries, and accidental flubs become the subject of friendly jibes. Mind the dais on 8 June, chides Farid, recalling the minor debacle at a previous stop. A jovial caution against the light jostle your tent gave to this sacred sitting mat when you were unaware of its significance during a conversation on tent placement. Throughout the journey, a curious form of pidgin emerges. Developed over centuries, this trade lingo, an improvised lingua franca, acts as both a bridge and a hallmark of the road's historical necessity. When you hear this animated exchange occurring without plan, a chaotic grace to the tones and expressions exchanged, you witness proof that language is not an impediment but a catalyst. Practiced signs of agreement, a nod, a handshake, and sometimes a bow, afford finality to deals, cementing all classifications of transactions. The gestures are universal. Trade, whenever possible, wants to transcend what human verbosity hinders, proving you need not a polyglot to orchestrate arrangements on the Silk Road efficiently. The amalgamation of tongues becomes a chorus where harmony emerges from seeming dissonance. And here you are, amid the noise and chatter, soaking in a polyphonic tapestry only a few will ever hear firsthand. Languages merge like tributaries, flowing spiritedly into the dynamic stream of commerce and culture. The Song of the Silk Road, in all its linguistic diversity, rings out a tribute to the diversity and creativity of human culture. It is music built on nuance and necessity, tying history's tongues into threads binding eras and places. As night approaches and the caravan settles, whispers of these language mosaics filter into dreams. They guide you through this vibrant linguistic landscape with both humour and charm, inviting you to explore these narratives deeper in days to come. The chatter and laughter from the day's proceedings still echo, lulling you gently to sleep as the star-sprinkled sky envelops you. Tomorrow brings more exchanges, more faces, and more stories to be told, in all the languages of the Silk Road. As the morning sun rises and casts a golden hue over the caravan, the time comes to explore another integral facet of life on the Silk Road, the diverse culinary traditions that accompany every stop. Here you find yourself entrenched in a sensory mosaic of flavors, aromas, and textures that both intrigue and challenge your familiarity with food. On the Silk Road, food is not merely sustenance. It is a cultural odyssey in itself. Each region offers its own culinary signature, a medley of ingredients and techniques handed down through generations. Your curiosity piqued, you follow your nose through market stalls, brimming with scents both foreign and alluring. Every dish tells a story, with complex histories intertwined with the exotic spices and ingredients procured from distant lands. Your culinary exploration begins with the simple yet flavorful meals shared at dawn. A hearty bowl of congee, a type of rice porridge, warms you against the brisk morning chill. Its steaming aroma mingles with the smoky air of the fires lit by your caravan companions and coaxes open your weary eyes. Variations of this humble dish span the Silk Road, each spoonful a connection to villages that once hummed with the echoes of trade and tales. Throughout the day, stalls in bustling markets entice passers-by with vibrant arrays of local produce, preserved meats, and fresh bread wafting aromas that envelop the senses. Vendors beckon you to sample their handcrafted delicacies, their voices a harmonic addition to the lively clatter. Here, tasting feels as crucial to your journey as the destination itself, prompting you to savor each morsel's unknown dimensions. A vendor offers you a steaming bowl of Lagman hand-pulled noodles tossed with spices and vegetables. The textures are more familiar than expected, though the kick of unexpected heat from peppers surprises and delights. You pause to admire the craft, the thought that goes into each dish, not unlike the artisans who fashion silk into elaborate tapestries. But your adventurous ventures have their implications. Some dishes challenge your palate with tastes and textures that diverge wildly from your culinary norm. Your preconceived notions of spice might be humbled by Sichuan pepper, while the salty tang of fermented tofu might puzzle your uninitiated taste buds, but delight those who recognize its acquired richness. Historians still argue whether the Silk Road's culinary exchanges were as pivotal as the more tangible trade of silk and precious metals. Yet one need only glance at a spice merchant's stall to witness a palette of colors that rival the market's vibrant textiles. And you realize the truth in this argument. Aromatic cardamom, saffron threads, and pungent turmeric each indicate of the intangible trade of taste that parallels all others. Around the fire at night, you share a meal of lamb kebabs with fellow travelers, their succulent flavoring a perfect blend of spices acquired from merchants along the route. You discuss the omnipresent irony of delicacies. Chai tea sweetened with honey, a symbol of China and Persia's shared embrace, or nuts candied in rich syrup as gifts passed between strangers turned friends under starlit skies. Despite these shared experiences, food along the Silk Road also invokes challenges of a more logistical nature. Perishable goods were scarcely transported, unless dried, smoked, or preserved to withstand the journeying climates. This gifted cooking a certain creative flair, one appreciated less when staring at dubious items skewered onto spits, and more when enveloped in communal laughter at one's audacity to sample them. Perhaps the quirkiest tidbit encountered is a sturgeon farmer near the Caspian Sea, swearing by pickled camel's milk as a feast-time delicacy. A reminder of the lengths traders go to forge new gastronomic frontiers on a quest for flavor. Amidst this vast buffet of the Silk Road, your personal gleaning understands more than the dishes themselves. It is the notion that food embodies a universal communion. What was once only novelty finds roots in your growing appreciation for the world, seen through its food, bridging the tangible and the experiential, uniting the distant. As the night settles, you take a final sip of komis, its effervescence refreshing among the clinking bowls and shared stories. A toast echoes through the caravan, a declaration of thankfulness for kind company and diverse flavors explored. One more connection in the intricate weave of the Silk Road, where even a meal carries history's weight and promise. Settling down to rest, the taste of the Silk Road lingers on your palate, a delightful medley of new experiences mingling with age-old exploration's tales. Dream lightly, knowing tomorrow yields more gastronomical wonder as you venture deeper into this ancient artery of cultures that continually astonishes and welcomes you, fork ever at the ready. As daylight wanes and shadows lengthen, you find yourself enveloped in stories both historical and personal. A mosaic of narratives exchanged around the evening fires. But lurking in these tales lies an ever-present spectre familiar to every traveller on the Silk Road, the ominous threat of banditry. Treachery and danger, perhaps not apparent at first, can manifest as swiftly as a gust of night wind. These bandits, rogues of regions played out in whispered confessions and cautionary tales, dwell at the fringes of trade routes, like wolves circling a flock of sheep. Their appearance varies as widely as their nature, from opportunistic marauders seeking a quick score, to organized factions wielding power over unsuspecting traders. As you settle in, you quickly comprehend the real implications of this threat. one unconstrained by the confines of fiction or fable. The line between trader and pirate becomes blurred here, where alliances are momentary and fortunes turn on a coin's edge. In a world where no security forces patrol the Golden Sands, traders band together for protection, strength in numbers being the only insurance policy against them. Historians still argue whether the bandits were an inevitable threat fueled by disparity, or if they operated under unseen patronage that considered their existence a necessary evil. Some accounts paint them as Robin Hoods of their time, while others portray a more Machiavellian intent. Yet, regardless of perception, these figures were undeniable curators of both chaos and caution. As the caravan traverses into territories fraught with risk, nightfall over the vastness stretching from oases to outposts brings stories' tales spun from the fabric of alluring danger, exchanged beneath starlit skies. Your companions recount harrowing near misses, laughter tucked beneath wary glances at shifting shadows beyond the fire's reach. No longer merely trading goods, you negotiate the knowledge of the land, where safe havens are whispered secrets among select traders, and which landmark denotes a boundary into perilous terrain. Guides present vital information, speaking in hushed tones of a particular valley frequented by these nefarious entities, or a winding path that grants protection by virtue of obscurity. You also learn the art of deception. A doped caravan, complete with ill-intentioned scoundrels camouflaged as benign merchants, could easily unravel unwary traders' dreams. An unscheduled stop might become a ransacked nightmare, leaving only fragments for future caravans to sheepishly navigate past. Hence, the casual leisures of campfires are punctuated by jokes about looking over one's shoulder, and ensuring that shoulder is adequately armed. The atmosphere around the evening fires is charged with vigilance, fortified by wary camaraderie, where bandits are openly vilified in hushed banter. The art of tilling a bandit's field, a veteran humorously coins in verse, highlighting the cahoots of such dealings even in temporary alliances for safety's provision. To your own dismay, you find humour in the weight of security expense. The skill boils down to arranging human barricades and convincing camels to stand between them and impending unease. You make note of the age-old trick of concealing valuables in innocuous containers, a trade secret spanning time and cultures alike. Around these bonfires, camaraderie finds its way past apprehension. In joking whispers exchanged with others who've narrowly escaped plundering, humour becomes a shared language. Gallows humour transcends dialects, a safety valve for night's clenches. Sophie, a textile trader from Gaul, successfully hides valuables inside supposedly cursed skulls, a macabre touchscreen against trespassers unready for both phantoms and possessions. However, for all their vaunted villainy, bandits contribute to the enigma of the Silk Road. They test trust and mettle, selectively sieving fortunes from sanctity. Though less welcome than the spices and silks, their presence is an unacknowledged strand in this journey's fabric, inviting travellers to be producers of their own protection. At times, the tension feels palpable, a muted hum beneath the carefree surface through which tides of commerce flow. Your expedition's camaraderie, a durable chain bound by shared risk, forms an unbreakable bond, a vital comfort amid the ever-present spectre lurking just beyond the campfire's steady glow. Yet, as the fire fades and you lie enveloped in darkness, the true allure of the Silk Road unfurls. Even tales of lurking danger become threads of the astral tapestry stitched tightly above each twinkling star, nurturing your waking dreams behind closed eyes. This storied road weaves dawning into the unknown, where isolation and unity coexist, and imagination turns uncertainty into adventure. As sleep beckons, the occasional rustle or wind-touched murmur reminds you of the thin line dividing safety from chaos. The spectre of banditry, fleeting yet undeniable, exemplifies this expedition's delicate balance, a dance of risk and reward that each traveller undertakes, an ancient narrative painted anew with every journey. On your onward path, remember the wisdom acquired from challenges overcome, only surpassing tales spun by storytellers with each step forward. In rediscovering the Silk Road's unpredictable harmony, let sleep envelop you under stars that eclipse darkness, guides within time's relentless cycle, illuminating both past and future wonder alike. As the sun climbs slowly above the horizon, its warmth tempered by a cool breeze, you sense the day will bring more than just the swaying rhythm of the caravan. An ominous spectre on the Silk Road is the threat of disease, a constant companion lurking invisibly among traders and couriers. a threat just as perilous as the rugged terrain or treacherous bandits. Disease on the Silk Road isn't a mere subplot. It's woven intricately into the chronicles of history. With travelers from disparate corners of the world converging on these routes, adversity and illness travel alongside silks and spices, creeping quietly into camps, market stalls and homes. Caravanserais, the bustling roadside inns, are a lively refuge for some and incubators for contagion to others. Under your breath you mutter thanks for your vaccinations, despite understanding their limitations against the obscure diseases of antiquity. The challenge of disease isn't relegated to any singular category, and its nuances are both spectral and solid. From the bacterial and viral, such as the notorious plague, to less-known maladies born from challenging climates and grueling journeys, illness affects not just one traveller, but entire caravans, disrupting livelihoods, ambitions and schedules. Each new town, each market stop holds promise, with a shadow, a roll of proverbial dice that a simple handshake might herald more than a greeting. Historians still argue whether diseases spread primarily through overland routes like the Silk Road, or by sea. The road has long been romanticized as the vessel for cultural and material exchange, yet it also frightens, with stories of contagions like the infamous Black Death. Pandemics traced pathways akin to these ancient routes, demonstrating that the Silk Road was both a cradle and a crucible for challenges to human health and resilience. Upon entering new settlements, you observe travellers and locals wearing amulets, invoking blessings against the unseen hand of illness. Market stalls boast mysterious remedies, some purportedly effective, others snake oil promises, but all testament to humanity's enduring quest for wellness. Labouring under the heavy weight of these fears, tales circulate around campfires, recounting how an afflicted merchant turned the tides of commerce by shifting entire markets for goods in short supply, salt for fevers, dried herbs for aches, and bizarre brews promising salvation or sleep. A travelling apothecary plies his trade with vials of swirled concoctions, his cape embroidered with colourful, albeit unfounded, testimonials. Food and its freshness take centre stage here. Fermented dishes like tangy yogurt or dim sums filled with ginger reflect nutritional traditions believed to combat malady. Traders adapted menus to match custom and caution, weaving ingredients and lore into every meal consumed. Those wary of consuming flesh in suspect stops opt instead for flatbreads and broths, familiar yet fresh with local nuance, a combination navigating the spectrum of sustenance and suspicion. Yet, within this multifaceted journey through uncertainty, there exists a resilience cultivated by diverse experiences. Invisible threats such as these, though eternally worrisome, forge bonds where survival hinges on the strength found within the collective, transcending individual narratives for the broader tale. Traders openly share experiences, disclosures of symptoms transforming anxiety into empathy, each offering countermeasures to their neighbours, a testament to camaraderie underlying the day's trades, which inevitably include convoys of breathing humans. The quirkier side of human endurance also emerges. An herbalist offers a poultice made from ground millipedes. Another suggests rigorous incantations sang backward while leaping thrice either, a testament to illness-driven creativity or the simplest, most intriguing poetic absurdity history has gifted us. As night draws near, with fires illuminating worried brows, laughter erupts at a cautionary tale where a trader mistook a botanical cure for wild berries, an unfortunate substitution as bravado and natural remedy combined to initiate a thoroughly uncomfortable and vividly coloured transformation. Yet, there is no time to dwell too deeply on fear. The caravan forges ahead under a blanket of stars, unyielding in their persistence to light the path. This snaking road, a fraught battleground born as much from fear as fascination, compels you onward. It stretches forward into futures infinite and inexhaustible, where the promise of another dawn glitters tantalizingly beyond present worries. Settled in your cot, the hum of distant voices reminds you that resilience on the road is more contagious than illness. Despite fears that thread among friendships and freights, beneath the ancient tapestry lays a simple truth. The divine spirit of the Silk Road trades in stories and safety, gifted by unity, journeys driven toward destiny. As dreams gently replace waking shadows, the road's music lulls you into slumber, an ageless melody softly drifting over open plains. Rest easy, knowing that whatever challenges await, the strength of spirit and shared humanity will guide you. Each step forward is both tradition and innovation, a constant ebb and flow, negotiating endurance against timidity, tirelessly recharting the course of every Silk Road dweller. The morning sun creeps over the horizon, casting a golden veil across the expanse before you. Today heralds a new chapter in your Silk Road journey as you witness the wonders and peculiarities of the exotic animals that accompany or flit through your caravan's path. It's a menagerie of life, each creature as much a part of the Silk Road as the traders and goods themselves. These animals are integral to the journey, not mere passengers but essential actors on the stage of trade and travel. Your camel is a steadfast companion, its double-humped form swaying rhythmically beneath you. This Bactrian marvel has trodden these routes for centuries, its resilience a testament to evolutionary brilliance. Its stamina and ability to endure harsh conditions make it invaluable, though its penchant for cultivating extravagant grudges might lead you to an imagined market to procure pet psychologists. As you advance, the cacophony of the caravan merges harmoniously with the sounds of animals that transport goods from distant lands. Horses trot alongside, prized for their speed and agility, a striking contrast to the more methodically paced camels. These steeds carry agile traders or bear quickly perishable goods that demand haste. The Silk Road is a kaleidoscope of biodiversity, where animals act as both conveyors and commodities. A Mongolian herder strides proudly beside his yaks, whose thick, luxurious wool doubles as both insulation against the cold and a valuable trade item. Yaks are remarkable for their sturdiness and surprising sure-footedness on perilous mountain passes. Yet not all animals encountered are mere beasts of burden. In bustling markets you'll encounter tethered falcons, their eyes sharp and observant. They sit poised, ready to demonstrate their hunting prowess or be sold to those seeking status symbols and strategic edge alike. Falconry, an art form older than the trade routes themselves, connects humankind with the natural world through elegance and mastery. Historians still debate the role and impact of animal trade on the Silk Road. Were these creatures simply assets, or did they hold deeper ecological significance, intertwining with trade networks to shape environments? Each animal holds stories untold, hints of past migrations encapsulated within their presence. The beauty of encountering such diversity lies not only in the animal's grandeur, but also in their unique interactions with traders they accompany. Take the elephants, for example. They lend a sense of wonder and occasional humor to your caravan as you marvel at these gentle giants. Their massive girths and oxymoronic whisper amidst your inspiring expedition. An elephant trainer regales you with stories that weave ancient mythologies into their saga, a reminder of how animals transcend geographical boundaries to embed themselves within the folklore. Meanwhile, a Persian trader leads a group of Persian cats beside the camels, each feline exuding an aura of regal disdain. These cats, known for their long and silky coats, serve dual purposes as companions for comfort and as commodities to be bartered by wealthy merchants seeking exotic tokens. Despite their aloof demeanor, they perch atop caravan loads, reigning over their human subjects with a watchful gaze. Yet not all encounters are so benign. The Silk Road also harbors avian dangers, like predatory eagles, soaring majestically yet hungrily over valleys. Their eyes trained sharply upon your caravan, surveying the landscape below for an easy meal. A bead of anxiety slides down your back as legends whispered by traders hint of eagles daring enough to snatch unwary travelers. Half-truths mingling with wild fancies yet sustaining captivating folklore. In moments of tranquility you focus on the simpler joys nature provides. Watch gazelles bounding across the plains with a poetry in their agility, a hauntingly beautiful reminder of life's wonders. Their presence a fleeting grace that frames the Silk Road in timeless grandeur. But as dusk approaches and the day's journey draws to a close, torches flicker to life and cast dancing shadows upon the night. Somehow, the midst of this wild menagerie forms a symphony of living harmony. Hushed whispers at the campfire recount breakthroughs where pack animals crossed with determined hearts through canyon and current to reach long-promised ventures. In recline, your dream spirals through this bio-rich trove, where grand legends unravel in the footfalls of creatures great and small seeking paths hidden by time. Here, marvels live alongside lessons, where collaboration between human ingenuity and animal strength defines daily progress. As you pledge your weary thoughts unto sleep, know that this journey is not merely a testament to human achievement, but also a herald of nature's resilience. The Silk Road, ever intuitive, aligns itself with creatures bold, bridging horizons that exceed mortal reach. Let slumber embrace you, as the enduring melody of beast and road fills your night with harmonious rhythm, a lullaby spun from the pervasive wonders of a world where animals and aspirants alike pave a path to the endless beyond. As dawn stretches its fingers across the sky, you rise to another day on the Silk Road, a day rich with the promise of cultural exchange. Here, more than goods traverse the ancient highways. Ideas, philosophies and traditions flow with equal vigor, imparting rich tapestries of thought to each traveler. You find yourself an eager participant in this vibrant exchange, a process as vital to humanity as trade itself. Your journey progresses and you feel the palpable pulse of cultural interaction with every step. The Silk Road is not a monologue, but a chorus of cultures, each voice contributing to a symphony of diversity. The merchants, artisans and scholars you meet hail from disparate lands, each bringing with them the distinct colours and sounds of their origins. Here, ideology and tradition intermingle, leaving you with an eagerness to absorb the stories and practices that define this age-old crossroads. In this convergence of cultures, you find a melting pot of religious beliefs as pervasive and varied as the flavours encountered in market stalls. At one stop, you witness a Buddhist monk, his shaven head glistening in the sun, meditating serenely amid the noisy chaos. His presence is a gentle reminder of the doctrines that link tranquility with the tumult of commerce, a balance sought by travellers who return year after year, re-evaluating destiny's path. Nearby, a Persian trader offers a Zoroastrian fire ritual in gratitude for safe passage, inviting you to participate. The ceremony, filled with solemn chants and crackling flames, is an awe-inspiring spectacle of devotion that underscores the spiritual richness along these weary yet hopeful routes. Historians still argue over the depth of cultural assimilation facilitated by the Silk Road. Was it merely a superficial blending of practices, or did it reshape the very core of civilizational identity? The tangible results of these exchanges are evident in the fabrics you see, dyed indigo by techniques learned from Indian artisans, and in the intricately patterned tiles influenced by distant lands. Your steps lead you into a tent where stories unveil across embroidered tapestries. These artifacts, entirely woven with scenes captured from spirited storytellers, illustrate grand tales of mighty empires, mystics, and dreams unfurled and refurled along the road. A young artisan, eager to elucidate her craft, informs you with a soft smile that these textiles transcend function. They are visual journeys, vessels encapsulating cultures adrift in across eras. Over a modest midday meal of rice and spiced lentils, you converse with traders about the oral traditions that accompany goods on their journey. A Roman merchant, his provenance evident in every flourish of language, shares tales of the Greek philosopher's influence on Roman governance, while a Samaritan, nearby, interjects with tales of cunning merchants in Antioch. Here, allegory occupies the dinner table as insistently as the food itself. Different regions foster their unique trademarks, distinguishing communities along the route. The vibrant city of Samarkand becomes a beacon of confluence, a vivid study in urban life where silk weaves seamlessly with subjectivities. Its people wear garments embodying these exchanges, adding the colour of shared existence with each stitched thread. Of course, this vibrant cultural revelry does not exist absent disagreements. Differences in custom and belief occasionally clash, creating friction as foreign ideologies jostle for understanding. But therein breeds innovation, a capacity for reconciliation and acceptance, as merchants discover that building bridges ultimately proves more lucrative than erecting divisive walls. Perhaps the most heartening aspect is the exchange of music. Melodies cutting through the sprawling silence of nightfall. From port cities wedged between arid lands, travellers bring reed flutes, stringed instruments and resonant drums, a chorus that serenades the golden crescent silhouetted against the velvety deep blue of dusk. The multifaceted tune, unique yet somehow universal, transcends language, becoming a duet of souls across distant lands. As night enfolds the caravan in a familiar embrace and the day's clamour recedes into gentle whispers, your heart swells with gratitude for the shared humanity the Silk Road fosters. It is an ancient narrative in which you find yourself woven, a narrative that upholds harmonised diversity over isolation. So, with your head resting against the soft folds of your bedroll, Let dreams cradle you in their narrative threads. The vision of a road that whispers grand stories, told by voices from every corner of civilization, thrums quietly within you. Allow slumber to pull you into its gentle warp and weft, knowing the journey ahead sings with the blending of cultures, a symphony of shared recognition that promises endless renewal across time's steadfast tapestry. As your journey continues, you find yourself immersed in the story of one of the Silk Road's most iconic and coveted commodities, silk itself, a fabric so alluring and valuable it has become synonymous with the trade network that bore its name. Silk was not merely a luxury, it was the lifeblood of empires, a shimmering thread that wove connections between distant lands and diverse cultures. Your introduction to silk began in bustling markets, where bolts of the fabric shimmer in a spectrum of colours, each roll a testament to human ingenuity and artistry. The allure of silk, even to the modern eye, is undeniable. Its texture, soft, strong and lightweight, embodies a perfect paradox, both delicate and resilient, a fitting metaphor for the Silk Road itself. The origins of silk lie deep within China, a closely guarded secret for centuries. Legend has it that the Empress Lezu of ancient China discovered the process of silk production serendipitously when a cocoon fell into her tea, unspooling to reveal its glossy filament. This secret of sericulture, rearing silkworms and unwinding their cocoons, remained fiercely protected under penalty of death. As you converse with traders, you learn that smuggling silk production knowledge was akin to espionage. It ultimately trickled westward, aided by resourceful monks who, according to one engaging tale, hid silkworm eggs in hollowed walking staffs and charmed their way across borders. These tales, though mingled with myth, illustrate the lengths to which empires would go to unlock silk's potential. Historians still argue about silk's exact route from east to west, while some emphasize the romantic vision of caravans laden with silk traversing the entire route. Others suggest more complex networks of local exchanges and intermediaries spurred its spread. Regardless of precise pathways, silk undeniably became a symbol of wealth and prestige, coveted by emperors, nobility, and aspiring merchants alike. You find yourself captivated by the silk itself. Its lustrous sheen captures the light, shifting subtly with the breeze. Traders demonstrate how it drapes and flows, speaking volumes without uttering a word. The fabric transcends mere materiality. Its sheen speaks of elegance and status, while its intricate weaves tell stories of the artisan's mastery. In markets, you observe transactions where transactions over silk are not mere purchases, but social rituals. Bargaining is an art passed down through generations, where the price agreed upon is as much a social contract as it is commerce. The traders, sharp-eyed and deft, size up their patrons, weighing each bid with a practiced grace. Those who walk away grasping a bolt of silk thus carry more than fabric. They carry a tangible piece of history, a vestige of cultural legacy. As you travel, you hear stories that silk influenced not just commerce, but diplomacy and warfare. Chinese emperors used silk as political currency, weaving alliances where parchment and ink wielded far less impact. Generals clad their ranks in silk-crafted armor, its layered strength and lightness making it an ideal defense. Artistry extends beyond the fabric itself. Silk is a medium for artisans who emblazon it with intricate patterns, vibrant dyes, and embroidered tales. You peruse silk scrolls where delicate brushwork recounts legends of dragons and phoenixes in flight, or the gentle serenity of tranquil landscapes, narratives held within each thread. Such artistry is not without contest, and cultural traditions vie for dominance in depicting themes and motifs. Artisans often cross borders, their work a fusion of East meeting West, where Persian paisley meets Chinese calligraphy, and Indian motifs find synthesis with Byzantine elements. The cosmopolitan aesthetic of silk echoes the multicultural exchanges it facilitated. An interlace of inspiration through confluence. As evening descends, you share a moment with a silken shawl draped over your shoulders, its warmth a comfort against the desert's chill. The way it catches the waning light evokes admiration, not just for the silk itself, but for the peoples and places that rendered it eternal, a marvel wrought from nature and labour, imagination and skill. In these moments, the road hums with an undercurrent as strong as silk's thread, a reminder of continuity and change across millennia. The Silk Road's legacy is etched into silk's very fibres, its stories tracing not only paths across continents, but into the realms of human aspiration and wonder. As you settle down to rest, Dreaming beneath the stars that arch across vast horizons, the road whispers its ancient truths. Wrapped in the embrace of travel's many marvels, your sleep is laced with visions dense and virtuous, a weft woven of dreams. Knowing silk's intimate ties to this ancient tapestry of trade, allow the night to draw you seamlessly into the fabric of history, whispering tales of elegance, experience, and earthly intrigue. For the Silk Road promises more treasures still to come. The following day reveals a fresh chapter in the vibrant saga of the Silk Road, as you explore the intricate dynamics enfolded within the burden of silk. Far beyond mere threads and rolls of luxurious fabric, silk had enormous economic and political implications that rippled through time and territory, institutions and identities. As you continue your journey, tales surface, illustrating the profound influence this delicate material wielded upon empires and economies. Silk, the so-called golden thread, was not only a medium of exchange, but also a symbol of status and power. Its wealth was immeasurable, and its significance extended into the deepest recesses of royal coffers and beyond. The monumental significance of silk becomes evident in how deeply nations have relied upon it as a standard of wealth and diplomacy. Much like the cash flows and currency exchanges of modern times, silk was a crucial medium, altering the trajectories of civilizations. Kingdoms plotted entire economic strategies upon the supply and demand of this luminous fabric, with their viability intricately linked to its fluctuating value. The burdens of trade, like taxation and tariffs, often accompanied silken exchanges. As silk traversed geography, each border demanded its share in taxes, enriching regions and rulers alike. It crafted seating arrangements for political discourse. Councils deliberated over silken taxes, plotting trade routes while measuring risk against reward. The caravan represented wealth on legs, journeying across punishing landscapes in exchange for fluctuating fortunes. Historians still argue about the full extent of silk's impact on global markets versus its symbolic prestige. Did economic reliance on silk lead to overspecialization, causing unforeseen vulnerabilities? Or did the emphasis on silk uplift political relations, creating channels for exchange and understanding hitherto uncharted? You find evidence of these debates in bustling marketplaces where silk merchants engage in spirited haggling, their voices weaving intricate negotiations. Each deal struck carries the weight of history, echoing long-vanished transactions conducted amidst opulence and austerity. Silk threads through both the grandeur of palaces and the rubbery resilience of trade negotiations, setting a stage where emperors and merchants alike play their parts. As you wander, you're drawn into a conversation with a trader whose family history he eagerly recounts is intertwined with the passageways of silk. His ancestors navigated politics and policy, dancing along fine lines between merchant guilds and kingly decrees, leveraging trade to claim socio-economic power when legitimate diplomacy faltered. Silk's political impact unfolds further as you explore how it served as a strategic tool for emperors and rulers alike. The Chinese empires cloaked their diplomatic overtures in swathes of silk, establishing alliances with distant lands that desired its opulent allure. The grandeur of silken diplomat gifts transcended words, bridging gaps in language to emphasize prestige and promise. Meanwhile, rival empires hungry for wealth, stature, and silk's enchanting magic waged silent battles to secure their stakes in this coveted commodity. More than mere fabric, the controlled distribution of silk defined power dynamics. Imagine finding yourself in Byzantine quarters, where a single bolt of silk might command as much negotiation as gold, the fabric itself treated as a royalty's endowment, threaded in destiny's design. Yet, as valuable as silk was, it attracted perils. Some rulers, fearing over-reliance on an external commodity, attempted to cultivate their own silkworms, initiating a clandestine competition with the East. These bold attempts often led to failures hampered by insufficient climate or knowledge. Yet the aspiration underscored silk's global importance, a chess piece on the broader geopolitical board. In the evening, as stories mingle with the cooling air beneath a radiant sky, you're reminded that silk, shimmering in the night's gentle embrace, holds tales more profound than its tactile splendor. Within its delicate fibers lies an untold history of human ambition, an emblem of commerce and compromise manifest in 1,000 negotiations past. As you lay down for the night, it becomes clear that silk is more than a fabric. It's a legacy of influence and intrigue, spooling across ages until this very moment. In its radiant folds, the burdens carried along the Silk Road resolve themselves through the dreams of traders and travellers, brought to rest within your sleep's embrace. Dream deeply, knowing the burdens you've glimpsed were borne by those who intrepidly saw potential where others beheld only difficulty or distance. Tomorrow's journey awaits, promising more revelations as you unravel the luxurious legacy wrapped around the spine of humanity's most enduring tales. The next stage of your Silk Road Odyssey leads you into the vibrant heart of bustling cities, urban oases that served as critical hubs for trade and culture along these ancient routes. These are not mere stopovers, but thriving beacons where tradition meets transformation, unfolding in a rich tapestry of daily life and commerce. Your arrival in such a city is heralded by commotion and colour, as if you've stepped into a carnival, where the performers are merchants, artisans, and wanderers from every corner of the known world. The city of Samarkand, one of the road's most illustrious jewels, welcomes you with open arms. Its minarets pierce the sky, a skyline punctuated by architectural marvels that narrate stories of influence from Persians, Turks, and Mongols who walked here centuries prior. As you wander through the labyrinthine streets, the hustle and bustle envelop you, a blend of aromas from myriad food stalls, the cacophony of haggling, and the rich tapestry of languages swirling around you. Here, stalls line endless corridors, each brimming with goods whose origins span continents. Silks unfurl beside fragrant spices, and strings of pearls cascade beside hides of intricately embroidered leather. In these vibrant marketplaces, commerce is a dance, a performance where every merchant plays their part with a flair of theatrical creativity. The bartering itself becomes an art form, reminiscent of modern-day price negotiation with gestures and theatrics that rival any professional's prowess. The interactions hint at universal human endeavours. They seek not merely transactions but connections, the weaving of relationships as precious as the goods exchanged. Historians argue about the exact layouts and structures of these Silk Road cities, each evolving with the ebbs and flows of time and trade. Were they flourishing centres of diversity and prosperity, or did they embroil themselves as borderlands of continuous contention and rivalry? Regardless, your eyes drink in the city's splendour, where relic and adaptation coexist, a living testament to resilience and reinvention. As you meander through quarters dedicated to art, you encounter skilled masons and ceramicists who embed the city's fabric with exquisite tiles-glazed mosaics, echoing traditions from Iran and India. Artistry is not confined to textiles or wares, it is carved into the architecture itself. Majestic madrasas house scholars and clerics, their spires and arches representing knowledge reach. In the midst of the urban symphony, merchants exchange not only currency, but tales and traditions. Over a steaming bowl of clove-fragrant rice pilaf, you listen as jockeys describe feats of equestrian skill and narrate memories of competitive races. Celebrations of horse culture suggest an exchange not solely of goods, but of human spirit willing to share life's racing heartbeat. You're swept along the currents of culture that define these cities, experiencing the heartbeat through musical performances echoing through cobblestones with the sound of string instruments and flutes. The musicians, illuminated by flickering torchlights in courtyards filled with graceful arches, present not only folk songs but a fusion that narrates thousands of converging narratives on life's diverse paths. As you dive deeper into the city, navigate to the illustrious Caravans, once bustling centres where traders found sanctuary. Inside, labyrinths offer tranquility from the clamorous streets, adorned with courtyards and chambers brimming with items from foreign lands. Each traveller unpacks their goods and stories alike, recounting bold journeys across landscapes and cultures, blending myth with memory, among fleeting bonds that spark bright and vanish swift. Despite the vibrancy, you sense the undercurrents of tension, a reflection of the peril and potential these urban oases contain. Rivalries may spark between visiting traders, each competing to sell their wares. Rumoured alliances can shift as readily as the winds, and behind every transaction lies a delicate ballet of political manoeuvring and commercial strategy. Yet, even within rivalry, an unspoken fellowship thrives. These cities embody the Silk Road spirit, a confluence of belonging where disparate destinies dovetail. Here the vibrancy of humanity is on display. The persistence in creation, belief and communication transcends time, leaving you somewhat bittersweetly awestruck at their harmonious disquiet. As night drapes the city in its gentle embrace, the city hums a different melody, where its rest hints not at finality but a continuation. You wander back to your resting place, grateful for the silences that thread through the city's vivid verve. Long after the market stalls close, the echoes of vibrant commerce linger like the fading warmth of a setting sun. In your dreams, the city stretches and dances, a kaleidoscope of colour, class and commerce, where travellers' tales are both fleeting and eternal. Rest assured, tomorrow holds yet more discoveries, and dawn will beckon with whispers of wonders and hospitality unfurled along these treasured arteries of human connection, where cities serve as steadfast harbours amid life's swirling river. The dawn skies are tinged with a soft, ethereal pink as the caravan readies itself for another day along the Silk Road. Today's journey promises encounters with those who seek more than material wealth, those whose quests transcend tangible goods and settle instead in the realm of the divine. Your path converges with mystics and monks, travellers with spiritual aspirations woven into the very fabric of their being. As the day unfolds, you find yourself alongside seekers of wisdom from myriad corners of the world. These travellers include Buddhist monks from the east, their saffron robes a moving ember in the cool desert morning, as well as Sufi mystics from Persia, whose soft murmurs of prayer drift on the wind like a desert song. These spiritual voyagers are drawn to the Silk Road not for commerce, but for enlightenment, a quest as timeless as the road itself. These wanderers enrich the narrative of the Silk Road with stories that dance between legend and belief. The desert itself feels imbued with a sense of spirituality, where the vastness of the landscape echoes the endless potential for introspection and discovery. Amid the mundane exchanges of barter and trade, a deeper current flows, threads of transcendentalism that link the terrestrial with the celestial. You spend time with a monk who shares the teachings of the Buddha, the silk fabric he carries bearing intricate designs meant to inspire tranquility and meditation. His gentle voice, tinged with stories of tranquility pursued along the Himalayas, reflects fathomless compassion and an understanding deeper than words. On rare occasions, he pauses mid-sentence, inviting you not to fill the silence but to appreciate it, a practice that reveals wisdom through simplicity. Historians still debate the exact role religious figures played on the Silk Road. Was their influence a direct catalyst for cultural integration, or did they serve merely as passive observers amidst trade's intrigue? Regardless, their presence left indelible impressions on travellers and traders. They bridged not just geographical distances, but spiritual variations, imbuing moments with meaning beyond the corporeal borders of everyday exchanges. You witness the transformative power of faith through Sufi mystics, who practice rituals that blur the boundary between the physical and the metaphysical. Their entrancing whirls and chants draw you into a shared transcendental experience, as hypnotic as the rhythmic sway of your camel on the road. The dervish dances are both a literal and metaphorical journey, a reminder of life's cyclical nature and the inexorable pull toward understanding paths beyond the visible. In communal exchanges around the evening fires, the narratives of miracles and illuminated moments, once anecdotal footnotes, become guides. A Christian monk recounts the journey of relics, sacred vessels travelling from Jerusalem to Antioch, while another regales tales of wonder from ancient texts where divine interventions altered history's course. These stories inspire contemplation, awakening desires for revelation and guidance. Such sacred tales are not without their lighter side. Within a gathering around the fire, you're humbled by gentle laughter when a mystic loses his train of thought, momentarily losing the attention of listeners as he misquotes an ancient text. The mistakes emphasize humanity, an endearingly graceful imperfection, tilting the balance of both belief and reality with playful humility. As theories about the nature of existence entwine with spiritual philosophy, you spectate on dialogues where pilgrimage narratives overlap. Which path is more authentic, and whose narrative upholds divine will? Each assertion yields fresh inquiries, as questions echo introspection. You understand that, like roads, enlightenment is a voyage rather than a destination. The shared journey reveals as much as final insight. As night descends, stars pinprick the velvety sky, resembling countless eyes watching over the road's ancient dust. Here, in the warming embrace of fire flames, these nocturnal symposiums ripple with existential discussions of divinity, consciousness and destiny, a dynamic dance of understanding, where faith is both beacon and burden for seekers. With a heart buoyed by the shared spiritual journey, you find solace in the knowledge that the wisdom sought is not always found in definitive answers, but in the search itself. As you drift towards sleep, the calming effect of the day's spiritual encounters lingers, offering a gentle lull of whispered truths under a cosmic canopy that spans eternity. In this dreamscape embrace, visions arise, of meetings and travellers, together trace the sands of time. The Silk Road unfolds anew each dawn, a path traversing not just the earthly realm, but also the rich, boundless landscapes of the soul, inviting all who wander to delve into the mysteries conveyed by its timeless journey. The next leg of your journey unfurls beneath a sky that seems to grow wider with each mile, stretching expansively above the rugged terrain and winding paths of the Silk Road. Today the air hums with the tantalizing allure of myth and legend, stories as diverse and colourful as the landscape itself. These are tales of the fantastical and mysterious lands said to be found along the route, where reality slips into the realm of the mythical. As you travel, you find that every seasoned trader and traveller becomes a storyteller, weaving intricate tapestries of legends that blur the boundaries between fact and folklore. One such tale is whispered at evening's campfire, where the flickering flames cast dancing shadows that seem to animate the stories with mystic energy. Here you hear of the fabled land of silk and gold, Serica, a place that remains tantalizingly just beyond the reach of even the most intrepid adventurers, a realm cloaked in whisper and allure. These mythical lands, often framed as paradises, echo the desires and aspirations of those who tell them, embodying both the hope of discovery and the perilous allure of the unknown. Are they mere fabrications conjured to inspire wonder, or do they hint at long-forgotten truths, their evidence buried beneath the sands of time? Speculations abound, each as colourful and engaging as the next. Historians still argue over the origins and purposes of these myths. Were they born of genuine encounters with unfamiliar territories, exaggerated with each retelling, or were they crafted intentionally to entice reluctant travellers into the vast mysteries of the road? Regardless of their provenance, they serve a universal function, spurring exploration, igniting curiosity, and providing the imagination with a limitless horizon. As your camel sways rhythmically beneath you, you engage in a lively conversation with Yara, a trader of spices who claims to hail from an elusive city believed to be rich with opulent treasures. Her stories swirl around unicorns seen in hidden valleys, whose horns bear miraculous healing properties, and phoenixes rising from the ashes, a symbol of rebirth found only at dawn's first light. The fantastical nature of these narratives adds richness to the tapestry, infusing your journey with a sense of wonder and expectation. Relics from the past, etched stones, ancient coins, and even peculiar fossils are eddies in the stream of commerce, and serve as supposed proof, titillating the senses and offering tangible links to the intangible realms of these legends. You meet a Persian storyteller whose expressive, hushed tone invites intimate listening. He speaks of a mysterious tribe believed to be giants, living in an oasis hidden well beyond the edge of known maps, their culture wrapped in secrecy and silence. With each gesture, his stories unravel time itself, inviting you to step into dimensions where humans converse with stars, and destinies are scattered among the glowing sands. These stories are not without humour, and you discover a playful challenge beneath their telling. At supper, traders jest about the mythical Achaemenid elephant tamer, whose endeavours yearn for grandeur, but whose lore reimagines the Decicrophant. The recounting brings peals of laughter across the camp, where levity finds balance amid the grandiosity. Venturing deeper, you hear of regions where strange phenomena occur, a valley where compasses spin wildly, confounding any navigator's skill, or hidden caves harbouring treasures jealously guarded by dragons or spirited guardians. Here, between truth and myth, the line is delightfully ambiguous, richer for the lack of distinct lines the modern world so desperately clings to. Yet, as much as these tales enchant, they also provide critical metaphorical lessons. Myth is born not only from need and nostalgia, but from shared understanding, a realization that amidst uncertainty, a story's heart may blend cautionary parables with universal truths. They invite each listener to contemplate the journey's broader meaning and engage with the eternal dance between unknown landscapes and the human spirit. As the horizon embraces dusk and the sky converses with stars dawning anew, you cradle these legends close, their stories finding a home within your own narrative. They inspire wonder, casting paths beneath your feet, shaped not just by scenic embankments, but by centuries' tales imprinted indelibly upon the road. These legends are the spirit of the Silk Road itself, timeless tales stitched into a collective consciousness where past meets present, falling asleep beneath a universe unfolding into eternity. You ponder whether the real magic lies not in definitively knowing the veracity of these myths, but in journeying ever forward, propelled by the promise of discovery, where each twist of the road may yet reveal the miraculous. As delightful phantasms drift into dreams, rest well, ensuring that tomorrow's dawn bears fresh stories, unknown pathways, and the perennial exploration of truths whispered on the winds. The Silk Road's eternal legacy of imagination and adventure. As morning's soft light spills across your sleeping quarters, you rise to another vibrant day on the Silk Road. A road not just of tangible trade, but of travellers' tales. Stories woven from the threads of experience, embellishment, and endurance. The road itself is an anthology, a compendium of diverse narratives that extend beyond borders and into the realm of shared human experience. As you join the caravan, the road becomes a tapestry of voices, each traveller eager to share their stories, tales passed from ear to eager ear, each iteration adorned with newfound flourish or arched embellishment. Beyond a map of places, the Silk Road is a journey through narrative landscapes where the spoken word reigns supreme. You fall into step beside a veteran trader named Rashid, a stately figure whose age does little to diminish the zeal in his eyes. His stories flow as freely as the silks he carries, recounting adventures of daring escapes from desert bandits and nights spent deciphering the constellations. Rashid's stories capture the imagination, conjuring scenes where peril and fortune entwine like the very fibres of the textiles he treasures. Around every campfire, voices rise in a harmonious chorus, narrating tales of heroism, misadventures, and profound transformations. Much like an artisan weaving patterns into fabric, each teller adds their individual flair. A pause for suspense, a sly grin preceding a twist. The storytelling becomes a performance, an art perfected over countless evenings beneath open skies. This tradition fosters an invisible thread weaving through travellers, linking them together in the loom of shared adventure. Historians still argue whether the tales circulating on the Silk Road were primarily tools of entertainment, education, or caution. Some suggest they served as mnemonic devices, intricate patterns that helped traders remember distant lands and obscure routes. Others view them as cultural currency, a means of building social capital and bridging divides in an era long before mass media. Among the stories you hear is one of the Caravan of the Unseen, a tale spun of legendary traders who reputedly vanished into the desert, their whereabouts the subject of endless speculation. Are they lost to time, phantom whispers, or just a mirage? Theories abound, inspiring contemplations of destiny and the eternal struggle between control and circumstance. You also encounter the amusing anecdotes of accidental heroism. A young merchant from Chang'an, blissfully unaware of bandits swarming his bags, whose oblivious courage deters would-be thieves from plundering his goods. Stories toys with the notion of fate's fickle generosity, eliciting chuckles as much as implicit warnings. Sharing such stories forms a part of the cultural exchange intrinsic to the Silk Road. Just as goods flow back and forth, so too do tales of wondrous lands and peculiar customs, enlarging the storyteller's worldviews by means of narrative imaginations. Though it might be difficult for the modern traveller, accustomed to instant information, the storytelling remains an earnest, lingering institution, echoing the preserved wisdom and humour of yore. With tales of far-off lands comes also a jest among traders, a game among trusted companions to embellish so extravagantly that plausibility teeters on fantasy. The race to land the most awe-inspiring yarn leads to one merchant's assertion that he sold silk to a roc, that mythical bird so large that its spread wings blotted out the sun itself. In these tales, motifs strip themselves bare to unveil life's unifying truths. Beyond the humour of hubris lies courage, kindness, and perseverance, values running as deep as the routes beneath each storyteller's tread. Through narrative, heroes and villains dance symbiotically, their arcs a transcendental performance, illustrating the eternal rhythm of past with present. Night marches on, carrying the warmth of stories nestling among the crackling fires, an intimacy akin to silver threads shimmering under the inky night. As shared stories weave together, barriers crumble, leaving woven bonds stronger than the sum of individual silences. When sleep finally wraps itself around you, the storyteller's voices linger, echoing within the quiet recesses of your mind. The patterns drawn from their tales glimmer gently, creating new mental tapestries spun with colour, adventure, and possibility. In this tapestry, each tale accentuates the journey's wonder, proof that the Silk Road winding, enigmatic, enduring, is as much a path of words as it is one of worlds. As night yields to dawn, remember that tomorrow's story has yet to unravel. A journey alive with tales waiting to awaken, awaiting the breath to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The dawning sun casts a golden brush over the plains, ushering forth another segment of your Silk Road journey. Today, the soft murmur of conversations hints at a subject often cloaked in shadows: the diverse roles and fates of women along this ancient route. In a world dominated by tales of great male explorers, merchants, and warriors, women emerge as unseen architects of history, their stories woven as richly as the silks they traded. As your caravan sets forth, you become acutely aware of the quiet strength and resourcefulness of the women who travel alongside you. Their presence, though less chronicled in dusty tomes, resounds deeply within the fabric of Silk Road history. Women were not merely passive companions, but active participants, traders, artisans, healers, and storytellers. They traversed the same perilous paths, playing vital roles in their families' and communities' successes and survival. You meet Amina, a vibrant jewel merchant whose eyes sparkle as brightly as the gems she sells. She is a fixture at every market, her skill in bargaining matching and often surpassing her male counterparts. Her stories of trade routes carved across continents are filled with both wit and wisdom, each transaction a testament to her tenacity and acumen. Amina is no anomaly. She stands among many women who shaped commerce and culture along the roads less travelled. As you journey deeper, the rich tapestry of women's contributions to the Silk Road unfurls. They influence art and tradition, bring songs and textiles to life, and shape the very culture into which their stories breathe vitality. You're drawn to a caravanserai, where female artisans deftly paint vivid images of their lives onto pottery and cloth. Each brushstroke a narrative of individuality and shared history, a blend of public market bustle and private conversations. Historians still argue over the extent of women's roles and their documented absence in the annals of Silk Road history. Were they indeed the equals of men but consigned to history's margins? Or were they witnesses to quieter, subtler revolutions? The truth likely weaves through myth and reality, a testament to women's resilience in the face of obstacles both literal and literary. The silk weaving places, in particular, offer profound insights, with looms singing songs of lineage and literary. Silk spinning itself was often women's domain, from which entire communities derived their prosperity. Skilled fingers wove threads into brilliant tapestries that travelled vast distances, binding distant lands. Here, the warp and weft of silk carried with it the invisible mark of its female creators, their ingenuity and identity interlaced into each vibrant pattern. In vibrant market corners, women accompany men in lively debates, often holding the balance of decision-making. You witness discussions where women broker deals, their voices carrying authority in a world keen on bartering autonomy. These negotiations are as textured and nuanced as the goods exchanged, emblematic of the dynamic balance women maintain between tradition and progression. But despite these triumphs, the path for women is often harrowing. Beneath the silk and spice lies a reality where restrictive traditions and societal norms constrain female agency. Yet even as societal expectations cast shadows, ingenuity finds cracks through which to shine. In the stories shared around the campfires, you hear whispered legends of women warriors and strategists. Fierce queens like Tomyris, who defied empires, becoming emblems of defiance and fortitude. Amidst the nightly tale-swapping, humour lightens any mood. A tale surfaces about a wife once challenging the validity of a misguided trade, leaving her husband impressed yet chagrined by his underestimation. A common jest pointing to the fortuitous intersection of foresight and fortune. Their supportive partnerships underscore love's intrinsic spirit, a timeless duet within the Silk Road symphony. By day's end, as a gentle breeze stirs caravan bells into rhythm, You reflect on the realities lived by the women who've come before and those who continue their march. Their stories are unwritten yet unforgettable. Emblems of perseverance amid adversity, inspiration behind the fabric of history yet to be fully unveiled. As you close the day and settle into nighttime's embrace, the spirits of these women linger, a perennial muse, whispering that progress is an unending caravan itself. Their narratives adorn the Silk Road's tapestry with strength and subtlety, their echoes assuring that no matter how concealed by time's sands, each woman left her indelible mark along the path. Drift into sleep, nurtured by dreams of resonant tales, ready to awaken to future journeys buoyed by voices past, where the rhythms of women travelling assuredly reverberate within the eternal realm of human odyssey and endeavour. The journey today leads you along paths that were once bustling thoroughfares, now veiled in history and mystery. These routes tell the story of the Silk Road's gradual decline, a transition marked by whispers of change carried on the chill winds of time. As you traverse these once vibrant trails, the narrative of a shifting world unfolds, a world where new priorities and powers gradually eclipse the road's former grandeur. At your side is an elder trader named Galib, whose eyes reflect both nostalgia and wisdom. Throughout this leg of the journey, he recounts tales of bygone glory, his voice resonating with the weight of history. The Silk Road faced its decline for myriad reasons, each as complex as the vibrant network it once formed. With the advent of maritime technology and the opening of sea routes in the 15th century, the allure of safer and more efficient oceanic passages drew commerce away from these time-worn trails. Historians still argue over whether the decline of the Silk Road was driven purely by economic forces, or whether it was also influenced by geopolitical shifts, climate changes, and the rise of powerful empires that saw less strategic need for overland routes. As maritime technology advanced, ship hulls held far greater volumes than even the largest caravans could muster, while ocean routes promised fewer bandit raids and disease outbreaks. As you listen to Galib, you can almost hear the echo of ancient caravans and see the shadows of thriving cities now lost to the annals of time. Bustling centres like Samarkand and Kashgar, which once danced to the rhythm of non-stop commerce, began to slow their cadence, caught in a quieter waltz as they skew toward local trade and subsistence. Yet, even amidst decline, the spirit of the Silk Road remains. You observe how once grand caravans, though lesser in number, continue as vital nodes, their architecture weathered but resilient. They offer glimpses of the past, a testament to adaptability, a quality shared by many who forged their paths within these corridors. Around the campfire, fellow travellers engage in discussions that range from contemplative to comical. A story surfaces about a merchant who attempted to navigate a treacherous mountain pass, but ended up circling back to his starting point, despite being convinced he had discovered a new path. This tale draws laughter, tempered with reflection on life's unexpected turns, a fitting analogy for the Silk Road's eventual decline. You ponder the decline as an inevitable part of any cycle, a transition that, while closing one chapter, also paves the way for new pathways to emerge. These changes are rarely mourned, but acknowledged with respect for the enduring legacy of human ingenuity and progress. As a lasting imprint, the Silk Road's influence can still be felt in language, culture, and cuisine, an indelible reminder of the road's past as a conduit for exploration and exchange. Its legacy extends far beyond a physical route, resonating within the ideas and innovations that continue to shape societies worldwide. It serves as a reminder that decline does not always signify an end, but a transformation. As night blankets the caravan in its inky embrace, you reflect on the timeless echoes that reverberate within these ancient routes. The stars above continue their celestial dance, silent witnesses to the Silk Road's persistent call for discovery. Despite roads less travelled today, their stories traverse the winds, inviting all to dream and to explore anew. And so, as you settle into another night of dreams, let the gentle rhythm of the Silk Road lull you into slumber. You are cradled not by ruin, but by continuity, a narrative that persists in the spaces between history written and memory remembered. Tomorrow promises further discovery across paths designed both by ancient tread and modern curiosity, leading undaunted into the dawn that breaks upon new horizons. As the sun lifts over the horizon, it casts its light on the expansive landscape of the Silk Road, revealing a tableau of interwoven trails that echo with the memories of countless journeys. Today you enter a space of reflection, a contemplation of the Silk Road's enduring legacy upon the vast tapestry of human civilization. Each step carries the soft weight of history, a gentle reminder of the profound interconnectedness birthed through these ancient pathways. The Silk Road's legacy manifests not only in the tangible remnants you encounter across these routes, but also in the invisible threads of cultural exchange and shared knowledge that continue to shape the world. Its essence persists in today's globalized societies, where ideas, philosophies and innovations leap across borders with a fervour reminiscent of those distant caravanserais. You pause in the shade of a grand old tree, a lone sentinel that reconciles past with present, and allow the stories of the Silk Road to wash over you. Here the remnants of trade goods become ancient time capsules. Splintered pottery pieces, fragments of silk, and rusted coin along the route offer clues to the density of exchanges and the dynamic flow once crisscrossing these lands. Historians still deliberate the extent of the Silk Road's influence, pondering whether it served merely as a trade conduit or as a catalyst for the profound cultural transformations that left their marks on both East and West. What remains clear, however, is the Silk Road nurtured a vast marketplace of ideas, fertile grounds where mathematics, medicine, art and religion traversed freely, disseminating innovations with an influence spanning continents. The fusion of architectural styles you observe in the bustling caravanserai and the harmonious blend of melodies in the air celebrate the symphony of cultures that have passed this way. As you explore the iconography of ancient temples and mosques, each structure tells a story of cultural diffusion, mixing styles and ideas born from diverse origins. Legends of navigators like Marco Polo, Ibn Battuta, and Xuanzang reverberate, their journeys emblematic of the Silk Road's reach into the farthest corners of human endurance and curiosity. These explorers captured both the imagination and historical facts, casting them into narratives that transcend time. Even the cuisine you encounter along the route, the fragrant spices, unique dishes, and flavors both exotic and familiar, serve as living testaments to the culinary exchanges facilitated by the Silk Road. Each bite of a spicy lamb skewer or a comforting bowl of noodle soup is a tribute to the flavors carried across continents, which merge seamlessly into new culinary traditions that still flavor today's tables. As evening falls, you join your fellow travelers at a communal meal, sharing stories and laughter that bridge differences and create lasting memories. The sense of community and kinship fostered by the Silk Road mirrors the broader connections shared by all who travel life's paths. A reminder that, at its core, the road is about shared humanity. In these quiet moments, the sky begins its nocturnal dance, stars sparkling like the ancient gemstones traded among merchants millennia ago. Under this celestial canopy, you find solace in the knowledge that the Silk Road's legacy transcends the physical, echoing in the realms of knowledge, art, and spirit. The gentle winds sweep across the landscape, carrying whispers of endurance and resilience. With each breath, you absorb the essence of the Silk Road, knowing that its legacy is not confined to history books, but lives on in the multicultural societies that thrive around the globe today. As you drift into sleep, the echoes of the Silk Road cradle you with soothing whispers, guiding you into serene dreams where past, present, and future convene on a shared horizon. The road's legacy continues to unfold with each sunrise, a beacon of exploration, connection, and infinite possibility. May your rest tonight be as deep and enduring as the memories of those who journeyed these ancient paths before. And may tomorrow bring forth the promise of new adventures on horizons yet unseen, drawing upon the rich legacy of this remarkable journey, a journey that transcends time. With a renewed sense of purpose, you are drawn into the intricacies of trade negotiations that are central to the Silk Road experience. Today, the focus shifts to the art of bargaining, a subtle dance, a nuanced choreography deftly practiced by the traders who ply their wares along this storied route. The marketplace is a grand theatre of transactions where the scripts are never fully written, and each interaction becomes an opportunity to reshape destinies. As the caravan halts near a lively bazaar, you immerse yourself in the rhythmic hustle and bustle. Stalls brimming with fragrant spices, luscious textiles, and gleaming trinkets invite your curious gaze. Each vendor presents a curated mosaic of goods, their vibrant arrays representing the convergence of countless journeys. The atmosphere is both electric and expectant, every transaction a potential testament to the deftness of negotiation skills. Bidding and bartering in the marketplace is an art form, a performative ritual that has been honed over centuries. Here, subtlety and nuance reign supreme. An arched eyebrow, a nonchalant shrug, a strategic pause. These are tools as vital as currency, for the art of bargaining is as much about social interaction as it is about determining price. For the uninitiated, it appears a cryptic exchange replete with gestures that sometimes speak louder than words themselves. The traders here possess an innate mastery, their eyes twinkling with a playful sharpness as they engage with potential buyers. You take part in a lesson with Karima, a seasoned trader versed in the subtleties of negotiation. Her laughter is infectious as she imparts strategies, her fingers weaving invisible threads through gilded stories of past exchanges. Historians still debate the influence of Silk Road trade on modern economic systems. Was this exchange a primitive precursor to today's vast global networks? Did the laws of supply and demand emerge organically within these markets? While the historical verdict may remain elusive, the vibrancy of this age-old economy is apparent in each interaction you witness. Amidst the market stalls, vendors hawk their goods with practiced flair. Their calloused hands move deftly over merchandise, wrapping each item with grace or thumping exciting rhythms on metalwork to draw the ear. As you stroll through the marketplace, a playful interaction unfolds between a merchant and his would-be customer, a mock quarrel over the value of coloured bolts of silk. The audience watching nods, their smiles illuminated by shared camaraderie over this timeless charade. Learning the dance of barter, you quickly recognize the power in understanding human nature. The dance is a test of creativity, resilience, and mutual respect, the blunt force of argument blended with the flourish of charm and composure. With Karima's guidance, you embrace improvisation, artistry, and quick thinking as vital facets of the negotiating toolkit. A spirited debate echoes around polished stones inlaid with turquoise and lapis lazuli. The beads themselves bear the faint imprint of journeys taken. Worn edges a testament to distances travelled. Colours softened yet resolute with history's embrace. With every twist of the tongue, the negotiation becomes a rich tapestry, a confluence of voices imbued with the fervour of their respective fables. Humour finds its way into these exchanges, a valuable mediator when stakes are high or tempers fray. An ageing merchant whose wares include delicate porcelain teacups entertains by describing them as heirlooms, guaranteed to endure familial debates magnificently. A jest that resonates universally, eliciting ripples of laughter. As shadows lengthen into the softness of evening, the marketplace exists in a state of vibrant harmony, where each barter and bargain has both tangible and intangible resonance. Patrons depart with arms filled with treasured goods, their expressions speaking to both the joy of acquisition and the satisfaction of a negotiation well played. With the sun bidding its gentle goodbyes, you return to camp, your sacks laden not just with trade goods, but with experiences that enrich this odyssey. The memories of the day's exchanges settle warmly within you, replaying like echoes in the night air, a reminder of the enduring power of human connection. In the serenity of night, stars shimmer above, each a celestial witness to eons of trade and storytelling. As you drift into sleep upon the Silk Road's enduring trail, your dreams remain filled with the wealth of shared journeys and boundless opportunities, illuminated by the promise that tomorrow's dance will hold fresh beginnings and uncharted exchanges. This road's eternal, mesmerizing legacy. As the sunlight spills over the horizon, painting the world in hues of amber and gold, you awaken with a sense of tender anticipation. Today, the Silk Road beckons you to delve into the perplexing and monumental challenges of preserving its ancient artifacts and cultural heritage. Throughout this journey, the tangible remnants of history crisscross landscapes, forming a mosaic of stories, rendered fragile by the passage of time. The preservation of artifacts has always been a delicate dance, one that wrestles with the elements and the impermanence of memory. Alongside your fellow travellers, you become a caretaker, entrusted with the task of ensuring that the legacies of those who came before endure for future generations. As you journey deeper into the heart of this ancient network, you encounter crumbling caravans array and weathered fortresses. Each ruin bears the scars of time, its stone walls silently narrating tales of humanity's resilience. These remnants, though battered by centuries of sand and wind, hold the spirit of the Silk Road within their very foundations. Historians and archaeologists strive to glean stories from these ruins, piecing together clues that illuminate the past. Yet the pursuit of preservation is fraught with challenges. The wear of time, climate changes, and human activity each bear upon these fragile sites. The interplay between safeguarding history and embracing the inevitable cycle of decay prompts complex questions about authenticity and representation. Historians still argue whether preservation efforts should serve to maintain the original context of artifacts, or, if adaptive reuses reflect the evolution of cultural significance, such deliberations shape the approach to conserving the legacy of the Silk Road, ensuring its spirit and stories are honoured and accessible. You find yourself in the company of a group of dedicated preservationists at a site where an ancient market once bustled with life. They labour with meticulous care, using delicate brushes to unearth tiles patterned with ancient motifs. In the silence of their work, you sense an awe that arises from being confronted with echoes of the past, whispers of an era that continues to inspire. Under the watchful guidance of the head conservator, Nadia, you are encouraged to handle shards of pottery and fragments of textiles. Despite their aged fragility, they carry the stories of traders who once navigated these storied trade routes. Each piece tells a fragment of a grand narrative where culture, commerce, and community converged in ever-shifting harmony. Beyond the pages of history books, local communities emerge as integral stewards of Silk Road heritage. Their role in preserving traditions and safeguarding stories ensures a living legacy that bridges ancient and contemporary experiences. In markets and towns along the route, you witness artisans practicing age-old techniques, their craft mirroring the preservationists' meticulous dedication. As the afternoon ripens to dusk, you learn of creative efforts to engage new generations in appreciating this heritage. Interactive exhibitions, digital reconstructions, and community-driven initiatives offer fresh pathways to experience the Silk Road anew. Through these endeavours, history finds resonance in the contemporary, enlivening connections that span centuries. Humour, too, finds its place amidst conversations about preservation. A jovial archaeologist quips about managing time travel through shards and scrolls without needing science fiction, a light-hearted reminder that even daunting pursuits require a touch of levity. With the sun waning, you find yourself reflecting on the responsibility and privilege of preserving history's treasures. Each fragment, artifact, and structure becomes a vessel for cultural understanding and empathy. As night folds its embrace over the landscape, stars twinkle like ancient legends brought to life in the sky. A reminder that the Silk Road's legacy extends beyond dust and stone, finding eternal expression within us all. As you settle into the comfort of your resting place, you find solace in the notion that while preservation shapes the legacy of the Silk Road, it also enriches the present with the resonance of shared history. Guided by the road's enduring spirit, your dreams carry the promise of discovery, tasked as you are with the understanding that the realms of past and future are forever entwined, drawing upon a narrative still being written with every journey. Nestled beneath the shimmering sky, you drift into a world where ancient voices find their place in the fabric of time, a dreamscape echoing with whispers of adventure and promise, a testament to the Silk Road's limitless horizons and eternal tales. As you rise with the early morning light illuminating the Silk Road, a topic emerges that threads its narrative across histories and futures alike: the profound impact of climate on this ancient trade route. Today you delve into how the environmental dynamics shape and continue to shape the experiences of travellers and the stories of commerce. While traversing these landscapes, the power and capriciousness of the elements becomes evident. The vast deserts and daunting mountain ranges you've come to know are not static backdrops, but ever-shifting players in the silk trade's saga, moulding both the physical routes themselves and the very lives of those who traversed them. The rhythm of trade danced in sync with the seasons, each journey a calculated gamble against nature's whims. Historians still argue over the precise role climate played in the rise and decline of overland trade. Were the drying lakes and advancing deserts merely coincidental, or were they instrumental in the gradual dwindling of the road's prominence? The Silk Road's life cycle has always intertwined with the elements, its fate guided by the hands of nature's unfolding narrative. As you ride, you meet an astute geographer named Hafiz, who keenly observes the land like a seasoned sailor reading the stars. He shares his insights, explaining how the shifting climate influenced trade patterns and settlement locations. Oases both sustained and stranded travellers, their precious waters dwindling and blooming in the wake of drought or deluge. A testament to adaptability amid ever-changing conditions. The challenges are not confined solely to history, as present-day climates echo similar tales of adversity and resilience. Tales of recent dust storms or avalanches hint at the ongoing dance between man and nature. In these stories, there is both admiration for the ingenuity once devised to thrive and a sobering respect for the relentless elements that continuously shape the land. Yet within these discussions is often humour, the survivor's salve to unpredictability. Hafiz recounts an anecdote of a trader who, once complaining of a wrong caravan trajectory blamed on troublesome desert winds, was unknowingly returned to his own city. A tale of circumnavigation baffled by dust, exhales eliciting mutual chuckles. In villages along the route, you find adaptation visible in both tradition and technique. Local farmers and tradespeople alike employ ancient methods, perfected and passed through generations, to navigate this mercurial landscape. Their crop rotations and irrigation techniques stand as a bridge between ancestral knowledge and contemporary necessity, a testament to nature's continuing dialogue with humanity. As afternoon light spills invitingly over crags and crests, Hafiz leads you to ruins once encircled by luscious fields. A former hub, now an occasional stop for curious travellers. Its current quietude murmurs of a flourishing past, echoes of commerce and enchantment resonating beneath layers of history. Throughout history, the challenges posed by climate have spurred technological and innovative advancements. New trade routes sprouted in response to impassable paths, reflective of human adaptability. These shifting routes represented opportunities for growth, emblematic of the resilience woven into the tapestry of the Silk Road. As the sunset bathes the landscape in a warm glow, you sense a shift on the horizon. Modern perspectives no longer view climate as a simple backdrop, but become part of an urgent conversation on conservation and sustainability. Efforts to protect the environment, to honour the legacy of nature's farthest flung roads, emerge as essential collaborators in the Silk Road's ongoing journey. As darkness enfolds the camp, the stories told during the day leave a lasting impression. Climate and commerce intertwine infinitely, balancing fragility with fortitude. Settling in amidst the echoes of history, you reflect upon your surroundings in a landscape forever in flux. The legends and realities sparked by climate change echo in your thoughts as the stars wheel above, each a cosmic reminder that the Silk Road, despite its temporal obscurity, remains a dynamic symphony of nature and humanity intertwined. Settled comfortably beneath the sprawling sky, your dreams reflect on change and continuity, visions imbued with the wisdom of the elements and the echoes of those who navigated these lands. The Silk Road, an eternal dance with the forces of nature, shares its silent refrain, inviting you to explore new paths under the stars' immutable gaze. As dawn breaks over the horizon, casting its first gentle rays across the landscape, the Silk Road beckons you to unlock the intrigue of cities lost to time. A captivating exploration of civilization's rise and fall along this legendary route. These cities, stories intertwined with the sands of history, offer whispers of vibrant marketplaces, bustling streets, and the ceaseless pursuit of knowledge and connection. Today, your path leads you to the remnants of these once glorious cities, where marble pillars stand like sentinels amidst crumbling forums. The silence enveloping these spaces is both haunting and evocative, as if awaiting the return of long-departed travellers to set dusty streets ablaze once more with the exuberance of life. Guided by the tales of travellers and the distant echoes of scholarly debates, you navigate the enigmatic allure of these urban ruins. These cities, such as Merv and Palmyra, stand not just as testaments to the past, but as symbols of human ambition and the relentless quest for prosperity and influence. Historians still argue over the factors that led to the decline and eventual abandonment of these cities. Were they victims of shifting trade routes, the vagaries of politics, or the inexorable forces of nature? The answers are as complex as the artifacts you encounter, each relic a piece in an intricate jigsaw of history. You wander through the ruins accompanied by Nara, a dedicated archaeologist whose passion for these lost cities burns bright. Her voice, infused with wonder, offers theories and insights into the layered stories of urban life that once thrived here. Together you piece together tales of vibrant diversity, where artisans, poets, merchants, and philosophers mingled in the pursuit of enlightenment. In the sprawling shadows of decayed amphitheatres and silent palaces, the hammer of history forged both empires and vulnerabilities. You learn of Merv's significance, its strategic position serving as a thriving nexus for East-West exchange. Its decline, gradual and enigmatic, reminds you of the fickle nature of fortune. A city once hailed as the heart of the world, now turned to memories tangled in the ruins. Nara points out faded murals, their vibrant colours softened by time, depicting the dance of daily life, from intricate ceremonies to bustling bazaars. Silent facades and tumbling archways hold narratives of resilience and ingenuity, birthed from the interplay between environment and enterprise. Despite the melancholy of these ghostly echoes, there is humour to be found in the stories of those whose lives once pulsed through these streets. Nara shares a light-hearted tale of a clever merchant who, finding himself in short supply of goods, claimed he'd traded with the mythical inhabitants of a dewdrop island. An anecdote that transcended his materials to bolster his reputation as a charismatic storyteller. In the unfolding shadows of the afternoon, you reflect on the parallels between these lost cities and the ambitions of modernity. The timeless dance of progress and entropy underscores the delicate balance every civilization navigates, a cycle of ascent, glory, and eventual transformation through time's unyielding embrace. As the day fades, you stand upon a hillside overlooking the ruins, where the sun dips beneath the horizon, spilling a final golden brilliance across the remnants of human endeavour. In this quiet moment, you feel an unspoken kinship with all those who have journeyed here before you, drawn by the lure of the ancient world and the stories hidden within its shards. Tonight, as you retreat to the campsite, the lost cities continue to echo within your thoughts, ushering you into a dreamscape where history paints vibrant panoramas beneath the moon's gentle gaze. Their enigmas serve as beacons, guiding you through the labyrinthine corridors of time, ever unveiling potential narratives that transcend distance and reconnect with past aspirations. The Silk Road, its mysteries woven with both ruin and revelation, cradles you as you fall gently into sleep. In your dreams, these cities breathe with life anew, an eternal testament to humankind's ingenuity and indomitable spirit, inviting you to partake in the unfolding saga that journeys beyond mere beginnings and ends, through tales as poignant and enduring as the road itself. As the first light of the new day tenderly nudges the world awake, you prepare for the final leg of your Silk Road odyssey. A farewell to the ancient path that has whispered stories into your heart and woven countless threads of history and culture into the very fabric of your journey. Today, standing at the threshold where past meets present, you embark upon your poetic farewell. The road stretches ahead like a ribbon winding through time, an eternal horizon where dust meets the sky. You take a deep breath, savouring the crisp air tinged with adventure and nostalgia, a medley of journeys past that have handed down their legacies through the ages. This journey has been a mosaic of disjointed pieces now meticulously woven into a vast and harmonious tapestry. You've threaded your way through deserts and mountains, markets and monasteries, engaging in the dance of traders, the reflections of travellers, and the murmurs of distant stories. The Silk Road's mosaic is a living, breathing anthology, each chapter a testament to the indomitable human spirit. As you journey, take a moment to remember the mosaic of faces whose stories intertwined with your own. Traders, monks, mystics, and scholars who, through their narratives, elucidated the rich and varied heritage of this storied route. Their voices created a chorus, harmonizing with the murmurs of history that forms the Silk Road's gentle, persistent song. In your mind's eye, distant oases shimmer like jewels embedded in memory. Caravanserais still echo with laughter and haggling, and the intricate designs of silken fabrics invite you to step into a deeper realm of understanding. The Silk Road is less a road and more a bridge, suspending continents across the chasms of time. Their stories reflecting the continuous interplay of humanity striving for connection. Historians still debate the full scope of the Silk Road's influence, but there is no question it persists, a testament to humanity's ceaseless yearning for exploration and exchange. As the modern traveller, you are a continuation of this legacy, the stories of those who traversed before you shaping the context of your own wanderings. With dusk arriving, you stand at a vantage point overlooking the terrain. Your thoughts are light with memories as the sun offers its golden farewell. The setting sun casts long shadows that dance gently across the landscape, weaving together the past, present, and future into a seamless whole. In this moment, you allow yourself to drift upon the currents of timeless wonder, feeling gratitude for the journey you've taken. These roots, though etched in antiquity, persist beyond physical borders, residing in the shared human experience and collective memory. As you begin to turn away from the Silk Road, let it remain a part of who you are, its promises and mysteries woven into your soul. Whisper your own story into the breeze, a new echo to enrich this tapestry of tales. A promise that the legacies encountered will continue to flourish within you, ready to be shared along the journey's unfolding line. Lay down under the vast expanse of the sky, nestling into an embrace as old as time itself. The stars, constant companions on this journey, shimmer above like pearls sprinkled across a deep celestial sea. Rest in the knowledge that each path walked was a thread in the grander tapestry, a story completed yet unfinished. Sleep well, knowing the road's whispers will continue to guide the spirit of those who dream, and may that legacy weave through you into dreams alive with the Silk Road's eternal song. Greater than, greater than, greater than. End of script. Sweet dreams.